Population explosion. Population is defined as the total number of individuals of a species present in a particular area at a given time. A species has many populations living in different regions. The scientific study of human population is called demography. Demography deals with following three phenomena. The first one, changes in population size. Secondly, the composition of population. And the third one, the distribution of population in the space. Demography deals with 5 demographic processes. They are fertility, mortality, marriage, migration, and social mobility. These 5 processes are continually at work within a population, determining its size, composition, and distribution. The rapid increase in population over a relatively short period is called population explosion. The world population, which was around 2 billion, that is 2000 million, in 1900, it has reached about 6 billion by 2000 AD. It is estimated that approximately 7.3 billion humans inhabited on this earth in the year 2014. If the number of population of a region exceeds its carrying capacity, this phenomenon will be called as human overpopulation. The term often refers to the relationship between entire human population and its environment. Overpopulation can result from an increase in birth, a decline in mortality rate, an increase in immigration, or an unsustainable biome and depletion of resources. It is possible for very sparsely populated areas to be overpopulated areas if the area has a meager or non-existent capability to sustain life. For example, a desert. Quality of life issues rather than sheer carrying capacity or risk of starvation are a basis to argue against continuing human population and its growth. In the past, infant mortality rate was very high. The child deaths and short lifespans used to limit population growth at that time. In today's world, thanks to improved nutrition, sanitation facilities, and medical care, more babies survive their first few years of life. The combination of a continuing high birth rate and low death rate is creating a rapid population increase in many countries in Asia, Latin America, and Africa. People generally lived longer in these areas. Overpopulation is defined as the condition of having more people than can live on the earth in comfort. The rapid growth of world's population over the past 100 years result from a difference between the rate of birth and rate of death rate. The human population will increase by 1 billion people in the next 1 decade. This is like adding a whole population of China to world's population. The growth in human population around the world affects all people through its impact on the economy and its environment also. The current rate of population growth is now a significant burden to human well-being. Understanding the factors which affect population growth patterns can help us to plan our future. Until recently, birth rates and death rates were about the same, keeping the population stable. People had many children, but a large number of them died before at an age of 5. During the Industrial Revolution, a period of history in Europe and North America where there were great advances in science and technology, The success in reducing death rate was attributed to several factors. Factor number 1, increase in fruit production and its distribution. Factor number 2, improvement in public health, water and sanitation. And the third main factor, medical technology and its improvements. A number of vaccines and antibiotics have been developed all around the world. Along with the gains in education and standard of living within many developing countries, population growth also occurred. Without these attributes present in many children's lives, they could not have survived common diseases like measles and the flu. People were able to fight and cure deadly germs or deadly diseases that once killed them. Because of the technology, people could produce more and more kinds of food and food products. Gradually, over a period of time, these discoveries and inventions spread throughout the world. It resulted lowering the death rates and improving the quality of life of most of the people. According to projections, the world population will continue to grow until at least 2050, with a population reaching 9 billion in 2040. Some predictions putting the population of 2050 as high as 11 billion. The United Nations Publication Divisions, that is UNDP, has recently released its report on world population. The report states that the world's population is likely to reach 9.2 billion by 2050, with virtually all new growth occurring in developing world. India, United States, China, Bangladesh and Pakistan are among 9 countries which are projected to account for half of the world's population increase from 2010 to 2050. The others are Nigeria, Ethiopia, the Democratic Republic of Congo and Tanzania. Section number 2, population explosion. According to United Nations World Population Prospect Report, there are certain salient features of world population growth and population explosion. According to the report, the world population is currently growing by approximately 74 million people per year. Current United Nations publications estimated that the world population will reach up to 9 billion around 2050, assuming a decrease in average fertility rate from 2005 down to 2 only. Almost all growth will take place in less developed regions, where today's 5.3 billion population of the underdeveloped countries is expected to increase to 7.8 billion in 2050. By contrast, the population of the more developed regions will remain mostly unchanged at 1.2 billion. An exception is the United States of America, where the population, which is expected to increase by 44% from 2008 to 2050. In 2000-2005, the average world fertility was 2.65 children per woman, about the half the level in 1950-1955. At that time, it was 5 children per woman. In the medium variant, global fertility is projected to decline further to 2.05 children per woman. During 2000-2050, 9 countries are expected to account for half of the world's projected population increase. They are India, Pakistan, Nigeria, Democratic Republic of Congo, Bangladesh, Uganda, United States of America, Ethiopia, and China, listed according to the size of their contribution to population growth. China would be higher still in the list were it not for its one-child policy. Global life expectancy at birth is expected to continue rising from 65 years in 2000 to 75 years by 2050. We know that life expectancy is a very important indicator of social and cultural level of the society. In the more developed regions, the projection of life expectancy is up to 82 years by 2050. Among the least developed countries, where life expectancy today is just under 50 years, it is going to expect to increase by 66 years by 2050. The population of 51 countries or areas is expected to be lower in 2050 than 2005. During 2005-2050, the net number of international migrants to more developed regions is projected to be 98 million. Because deaths are projected to exceed birth in more developed regions by 73 million during 2005 to 2050. Population growth in those regions will largely be due to international migration, not due to natural increase. In 2000-2005, net migration in 28 countries either presented population decline or doubled at least the contribution of natural increase to population growth. Natural increase means birth minus deaths. Birth rates are now falling in small percentage of developing countries, while the actual population in many developed countries would fall without immigration. These critics maintain that slowing world population growth is one of the most urgent issues. Those who believe that the world is overpopulated argue if we don't sharply lower birth rates, we are raising death by default. Segment number 3, the causes of rapid population growth. The remarkable facts about the last 150 years has been the ability of farmers to increase food production geometrically in some places. Production and distribution of food is the most important aspect contributed the rapid growth of increase in human population. Much of the world experienced agricultural success, especially in the last 50 years. In more recent years, the technology has produced a broader variety of techniques, new kinds of seeds, chemical fertilizers, pesticides, and more sophisticated machinery in agricultural productions. During the past 10 years, the world's food production has increased by 24%, outpacing the rate of population growth. However, this increase has not evenly distributed throughout the world. This is the thing you have to keep in mind. For example, in Africa, food production decreased while population increased. People have concerns about surviving daily living, such as meeting basic needs, food, water, and housing. Unlike primitive life, now modern man has designed most appropriate methods of life. The better living environment and improvements in public health has resulted tremendous increase in world population. The biggest population story of the last 100 years has been the conquest of diseases. Scientists have learned a great deal about the ways of prevent and cure many types of diseases. Millions of people who would have died of diseases a century ago are more likely to live to their old ages. The most effective tool in the conquest of disease has been improved knowledge about nutrition, vaccinations, better public health facilities, and better practices of health and medicines. In the late 1980s, a baby born in Iceland was 32 times more likely to live to the age of 1 year as a baby born in Afghanistan. The major reason for this large difference in survival rate is nutrition. When young children get enough of the right kind of food, they are likely to live to be adults. In many nations, the people know about proper nutrition for young children and adults. Another most important factor is vaccinations. As far back as 1800, scientists knew how to use vaccines to protect people from infectious diseases. Use of that knowledge has reduced the rate of diseases like influenza, smallpox, polio, rubella, etc. in less developed countries. Again, lack of resources has prevented many less developed countries from making similar use of vaccinations to reduce their rate of infectious diseases and death rates in their countries. Moreover, vaccines are still not available for some diseases, for example malaria, in some of the countries. The end of population explosion worldwide will be determined by how much countries invest in family planning efforts to lower fertility and slow down population growth. Rapid population growth has a variety of consequences. Population grows fastest in world's poorest countries. High fertility rates have historically been strongly correlated with poverty and high childhood mortality rates. Falling fertility rates are generally associated with improved standards of living, increased life expectancy, and lowered infant mortality rate. Overpopulation and poverty have long been associated with increased death and diseases. People tightly packed into unsanitary housing are inordinately vulnerable to natural disasters and health problems. However, most of the world's 1.2 billion desperately poor people live in less developed countries. Poverty exists in moderately developed countries also. 1 in 5 Soviet citizens reportedly lives below country's official poverty line. In the United States of America, 33 million people, that is 1/8 of Americans, are still below official poverty line. The rapid expansion of population size observed since the end of Second World War in the world's poorest nations has been a cause of their poverty. Poverty is a condition of chronic deprivation and need at the family level. Poverty is a major concern of humankind because poverty everywhere reduces human beings to a low level of existence. Poor people lack access to enough land and income to meet basic needs. A lack of basic needs results in physical weakness and poor health. Poor health decreases the ability of the poor people to work and put them deeper into poverty. Instead of allowing poverty to persist, it is important to limit our number because in dense populations, too many lack adequate food, water, shelter, education, and employment. High fertility, which have been traditionally associated with prosperity, prestige, and security for the future. Rich and poor countries alike are affected by population growth. Though the population of industrial countries are growing more slowly than those of developing one, at the present growth rate, the population of economically developed countries would double in 120 years. The third world, with over 3/4 of the world's people, would double its members in about 33 years. This rapid doubling time reflects the fact that 37% of developing world population is under the age of 15 and entering their most productive childbearing years. In the third world countries, excluding China, 40% of people are under 15 age. In some African countries, nearly half of its population comes under this 15 years age group. Growth of population increases the chance of emergence of new epidemics and pandemics. People has to live in unhygienic living conditions. For many environmental and social reasons, the poor and more likely to be exposed to infectious diseases. Poverty coupled with inflation in some regions and resulting low level of capital formation. Elevated crime rate is another notable destiny of population explosion. Conflict over scarce resources and crowding leading to increased levels of warfare and conflicts all over the world. Segment number 5. What we can do. There is a controversy over whether population growth is good or bad. Overpopulation and continuing population growth are making substantial contributions to destruction of Earth's life support systems. In the past, human population have rarely been subjected to explosion in numbers. The powerful long-term momentum that is built into human age structure means that the effect of fertility changes become apparent only in future. For these reasons, it is now conventional practice to use technology of population projection as a mean of better understanding the implications of trends. Population projections represent the playing out into the future of a set of assumptions about future fertility and future mortality rates. More public education is needed to develop more awareness about population issues. Facts like the population size or the growth rate of the human population should be the head of every citizen. Schools should be inform students about population issues in order to make the projections about the future generations. Action plans and strategies can be developed to increase public understanding of how rapid population growth limits chances of meeting basic needs. The spirit of open communication and empowerment of individual women and men will be key and instrumental to a successful solution to many of the population problems. Collective vision about healthcare, family planning, and women education at community level build a basis for this action. The creation of action plans help to meet challenges to find cooperative solutions. Free and equal access to healthcare, family planning, and education are desirable in their own right and will help reduce unwanted fertility. Individual choice, human rights, and collective responsibility are key to allowing families to plan the size and spacing of children. It is essential to achieve a balance between population and the available resources. Teachers, parents, community workers, and other stakeholders should extend the range of choices about available resources to individuals, especially women, and by equalizing opportunities between the genders from birth onwards. The world's current and projected population growth calls for an increase in efforts to meet the needs of food, water, healthcare, technology, and education. In the poorest countries, massive efforts are needed to keep social and economic conditions from deteriorating their further conditions. Many countries lack adequate supplies of basic materials needed to support their current population. Rapid population growth can affect both the overall quality of life and the degree of human suffering on earth.